Okay, question number 61. Question 61. So it says a fruit salad mixture consists of apples, peaches, and grapes in the ratio 6:5:2 respectively by weight. If 39 pounds of the mixture is prepared, the mixture includes how many more pounds of apples than grapes? So what we can note here is that we are having a ratio of apples, peaches, grapes in the ratio of 6:5:2 here. And we have 39 pounds of mixture that is prepared. So what we can deduce by reading the prompt here is that the number of pounds of apples will need to be a multiple of 6. So we can say here that 6x is going to be equal to the number of pounds of apples, for the apples. And then 5x is going to be equal to the number of pounds for peaches, and 2x is actually going to be equal to the number of pounds for grapes, like this. And then so the summary of 6x plus 5x plus 2x, which is actually equal to 13x, will be equal to the total number. So this is actually the total number of pounds for the whole mixture. Okay. So since they have told us that if 39 pounds of the mixture is prepared, so we can say that 13x, okay, this 13x here is actually equal to 39, like this. And this can lead us to find the value of x, which is 39 divided by 13, and x is going to be equal to 3. Okay, because if you divide 39 by 13, you find the value 3. So now the question is to find out how many more pounds of apples than grapes. So here we have the number of pounds of apples, and we have the number of pounds of grapes. So here we will say how many more pounds of apples than grapes. We will simply going to say 6x, which is the number of pounds of apples, minus 2x, which is the number of pounds of grapes. And this will be equal to 6 factor of 3, because x is 3. We found the value of x here, minus 2 factor of 3. And this will be 18 minus 6, which is equal to 12. Okay, so we are going to have 12 more apples, 12 more pounds of apples than grapes. So answer B is our solution. Let's go to question number 2 quickly. Question number 62, excuse me. Question 62. It says, if it is assumed that 60% of those who receive a questionnaire by mail will respond and 300 responses are needed, what is the minimum number of questionnaires that should be mailed? So from the prompt, we can say let n be equal to the number of those who received the questionnaire. It's like this, okay? And then it says that 60% of those who receive the questionnaire will respond. So 60% of n, which is actually equal to 60n over 100, is actually equal to the number of those that will respond, like this. Okay, and it says, so since 300 responses are needed, so we are going to suppose that 300 responses are needed, like the least number of responses that we can get. Okay. What is the minimum number of questionnaire that should be emailed? So simply put 60n over 100 equal to 300. Then n is going to be equal to 300 times 100 over 60. And this will lead us to have 3 times 100 times 5 times 2 over 3 times 2. So 2 will cancel, 3 will cancel, n is going to be equal to 500. You see? So answer D is the correct answer in this case. So that's how you find the solution to this question particularly. Now let's go to question number 63. So it says, a fish tank is half full of water. If 10 gallons of water were added, the tank would be 7/8 full. What is the capacity of the tank in gallons? So let F be equal to the full capacity of the tank. Okay, so now here the first sentence says a fish tank is half full. So it's F over 2. If 10 gallons of water were added, so plus 10 gallons of water, the tank would be 7/8 full. So that will be 7/8 full, like this. Okay, so now if we are going to try to find the value of F, because what is the capacity of the tank in gallons, the full capacity? This will lead us to have F plus 20 over 2, 7F over 8. And this will lead us to have 8F plus 160, which is equal to 14F. And if we bring, so this is simply saying like 14F is equal to 8F plus 160, okay? 14F minus 8F is equal to 160F. This will give us 6F equal to 160, and then F will be equal to 160 over 6, and this will be equal to 80 over 3. Okay, so 80 over 3. Now we can look at the answer choices. How can we get a value here? So we are going to divide this. So 80 is actually equal to 78, which is a multiple of 3 plus 2. The whole will be divided by 3. And then F will then be equal to 78, 3 plus 2, 30. And then this, when we divide it, it's going to give us 26 plus 2 thirds. And this is simply equal to 26 2 thirds, like this. Okay, so the answer is answer C. 26 2 thirds for our question 63. Moving on to question 64, the next one. Question 64 will say, the question says, 30% of the members of a swim club have passed the life-saving test. Among the members who have not passed the test, 12 have taken the preparatory course and 30 have not taken the course. How many members are there in the swim club? So the same way we say, let n be equal to the total number of members of the swim club. Okay, and we will have it says 30% of the members have passed the life-saving test. So that will be 30% of n, which is 30n over 100. Okay, this is actually equal to the number of swim club members that have passed, like it says in the prompt, the life-saving test, like this. Okay, so if 30% have passed the life-saving test, that means that 70% of the members, or 70n over 100, is actually equal to the number of swim club members that have not passed the test yet. So that's how you get this particular value. Okay, so now the test says, among the members who have not passed the test, 12 have taken the preparatory course and 30 have not taken the course. How many members are there in the club? So among the 70n over 100, we know that it's made up of 30 members that have not taken the course, and so 30 members have not taken the course, and 12 that have taken the preparatory course. 12, like this. So this will lead us to have 70n, which is going to be equal to, so this is going to be 42, so 42 times 100. And n will be equal to 42 times 100 over 70. So this here, n, is now going to be equal to, so 42 is 7 times 6 times, so, and then we have times 10 divided by 7 here. When you cancel the 7, n is going to be equal to 60. So you see, that's how you find the answer to the question. So answer A. All right, moving on to the next question, which is question 65. Let's go. So question 65 says, if S, okay, which is a set of numbers, 0, 4, 5, 2, 11, 8, how much greater than the median of the numbers in S is the mean of the numbers in S? So let's start by understanding the prompt, and based on what the prompt says, we can say that the median of the numbers okay, so here we have 0, 4, 5, 2, 11, 8. So we are going to classify from the least to the greatest. Okay, so here we're going to take 0, and then we have 2 here, which is the next, and then we have 4, and then we have 5, and then we have 8, and then we have 11. So now here, in order to find the median, we need to find how many numbers do we have in our set here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the median is going to be between the third and the fourth here. Okay, so in order to find the median, we simply say median is going to be equal to 4 plus 5 divided by 2, which is 4.5. So remember that the question is, how much greater than the median of the numbers in S is the mean of the numbers in S? So we found the median, we need to find the mean. So normally, based on how the question is formulated, the mean will need to be a little bit greater than the median. Okay, so the mean of the numbers is going to give us mean, which is going to be equal to 0 plus 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 8 plus 11 divided by 6, because we have 6 numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this will give, so it's going to give us 30 over 6, because 0 plus 2 is 2, 2 plus 4 is 6, 6 plus 5 is 11, 11 plus 8 is 19, 19 plus 11 is 30. And then the mean is going to be equal to 5. So now we have the median, we have the mean. The question is, how much greater than the median is the mean? So simply saying that mean minus median is how many? Okay, so we have the mean, which is 5, minus the median, which is 4.5. This is going to give us 0.5. That's the answer. So answer E here in our answer choices, 0.5 is the correct answer. that's how you find the solution to this question. Okay, moving on to the next question, 66. So here it says list S consists of the positive integers that are multiples of 9 and are less than 100. What is the median of the integers in S? So we can simply write down the list. So it talks about list S, which is made up of the positive integers that are multiples of 9. So we can list the multiples of 9 that are less than 100. So multiples of 9, so it's going to be like 9x, okay? And x is going to be a positive integer from 1 up to any number, so that 9x must be less than 100. So simply like this. Okay. So the numbers that we need to find that needs to be part of the list needs to respect this condition here. So how do we go about it? So we can simply say that if x is equal to 0, then equal to 1, then here we'll have 9. If it's equal to 2, you have 18, and so on and so forth. So that's how we are going to find these values. So 9 times 2 is 18, 9 times 3 is 27, 9 times 4 is 36, 9 times 5 is 45, 9 times 6 is 54, 9 times 7 is 63, 9 times 8 is 72, 9 times 9 is 81, 9 times 10 is 90, 9 times 11 is 99. 9, we will not go further because 99 and then the next number is 100. The prompt says that it needs to be less than 100. So these are the values that we have in our list. So now in order to find the median, we can try first of all to find out how many numbers we have in the list. So we can say that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the median is actually going to be equal to the 6th number. Okay, so here we are going to have 5 numbers, and here we have 5 numbers. Okay, so the median is actually when you order the number from least to greatest, which number is at the middle. If the total number of of numbers we have in the list is odd, then we can simply find the value of the median here. But if it is even, then we are going to take the formula, the one that I showed you in the previous question. So this here is going to be our median. Okay, so we can simply say that median is equal to 54. Like this. Simple question. Yeah, so that's how you found the answer to the question. Answer D, 44. 44, like this. Go on to question 67. She says, in 1970, there were 8,902 women stockbrokers in the United States. By 1978, the number had increased to 19,947. Approximately, what was the percent increase? So we will say percentage increase from 1970 to 1978. So I will simply say percentage increase is equal to, what did he say? Yeah. So in 1978, we're going to have 19,947 minus 8,902 divided by the number of women stockbrokers in 1970. Okay, that is 8,902. So we are finding the percentage increase. So this is going to lead us to having so 19,947 like this. It's going to give us 5 here, 4, 0, 1, and 1. Okay, so this is going to lead us to having value here 11045 over let me see, 892 like this, and this is approximately equal to, let's say, 12,000 divided by 9,000. Okay, and this will be approximately equal to 12 over 9, which is by itself equal to 4 over 3. 4 over 3. So 4 over 3 is actually equal to 1.5, 1.25, and if we multiply it by 100, we're going to have 125%. Okay, so the answer is answer B. Okay, so that's how you find. So because the answer, the question says approximately what is the integer increase. So we are looking for the approximate value, not the exact value. Okay, let's move on to question number 68. Yes, so we have this question. It says, if the relations shown hold for the operation this, and the numbers m, n, p, q, and r, then we have this operation. So I'm just going to write down the operation like this. P, like this. Q is P is equal. Okay, so this is the operation, and we have the values here. So MP is this one. So this is the first operation. This is going to lead us to have N, because that's the result here, N. And then we have this symbol and Q, like this. And then we can put the symbol again and P. So now we can find out that NQ is this one here. Second operation, it is actually equal to Q. So this is going to lead us to have Q and N, the symbol, and P. QP is this one. Okay. Third operation, which is actually equal to R, like this. Okay. So that simply says that our answer is going to be R. If we base our calculation and operation on the values and the operations that we have here. So our answer E is the correct answer. So let's move on to question 69. Okay, question 69 says, Reggie purchased a car costing $8,700. As a down payment, he used a $2,300 insurance settlement and an amount from his savings equal to 15% of the difference between the cost of the car and the insurance settlement. If he borrowed the rest of the money needed to purchase the car, how much did he borrow? So we will say that the cost for buying the car is $8,700, and we are going to call it C. And we will have a down payment. Let me write it well. Down payment, that is going to be equal to $2,300 plus, so it says $2,300 insurance settlement, and an amount of his savings equals to 15% of the difference between. So it's going to be plus 15%, so 15 over 100 of the difference between the cost of the car, which is $8,700, minus the insurance settlement, which is $2,300, like this. So here we're going to have 2,300 plus, so this operation here is going to give us, this is actually, so let's say 8,000 minus 0.0046. Okay, so we are going to have 15 times 6,400 over 100, like this. And this will be 2,300 plus. So 64, because this 2 zeros are going to cancel. And 64 times 15 is actually going to give us 320, 64, 06, okay, 960. Okay, so now the down payment will be equal to 3,260. So now the question is, if he borrowed the rest of the money needed to purchase the car, how much did he borrow? So the money that he borrowed. So we will say amount borrowed will be equal to $8,700 minus the down payment, which is $3,260, which will give us, if we do the calculation well, $5,440. And it's answer C. You get that? Okay, let's go to question number 70. Question number 70 says, the toll T in dollars for a truck using a certain bridge is given by the formula T equals 1.50 plus 0.50 factor of x minus 2, where x is the number of axles in the track, on the track. What is the toll for an 18-wheel truck that has 2 wheels on its front axle and 4 wheels on each of its other axles? So here we know that we have this formula, T equals to 1.50 plus 0.50 x minus 2. And then we have x, which is equal to the number of axles on the track. And from the prompt, we also know that the number of wheels on the track is equal to 18. And then the number of wheels on the front axle is equal to 2, based on what the prompt says here, two wheels on the front axle. So for the moment, the prompt tells us, so it tells us that there is one front I'm gonna call one front axle. Let me rewrite it. There is one front axle and 16 remaining wheels need to be these 3 distributed among the remaining axes. Okay, now we can also determine the number of remaining the number of remaining axles. We are going to have four wheels on each of the other axles. So that means that since we have 16 wheels remaining, so we are going to divide 16 by 4, and that is going to give us 4 axles. So now, in order to find the total number of axles, we are going to have the front one, which is 1 front axle, plus 4 remaining axles, which is equal to 5 axles in total. So that's the logic on how to solve this particular question. So now when we have this our formula here. And the prompt says that X is actually the number of axles on the track. So we've been able to find X. So we can simply say then our formula T, Y is equal to 1.50 plus 0.50 and 5 minus 2 like this. It's going to be 1.5 plus 0.5 factor of 3, and then this will give us 1.5 plus 1.5, which is equal to 3. So T is equal to 3. So here we can find the answer choices. The answer choice B corresponds to what we have found. So that's our correct answer. Okay, so question 71. It says, in a certain sequence of 8 numbers, each number after the first is 1 more than the previous number. If the first number is -5, how many of the numbers in the sequence are positive? Okay, so in a certain sequence of 8 numbers, each number after the first is 1 more than the previous. So we will simply say let sequence of 8 numbers S, we call it S. S, then we call S, and says each number after the first one is 1 more than the previous. So S is like the first number in our sequence. So the next is going to be S plus 1, and then S plus 2, S plus 3. So we need to have 8 numbers in the sequence. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to add 4 more. So S plus 4, S plus 5, S plus 6, S plus 7. Okay. And then it says, if the first number is -5, how many of the numbers in the sequence are positive? So as we determine, the first number here is S. So it simply means that what it's saying, that if S is equal to -5, then our sequence will have numbers like this. -5, the second number is going to be -5 plus 1, -5 plus 2, -5 plus 3, -5 plus 4, -5 plus 5, -5 plus -5 plus 6, plus 6, and then -5 plus 7. And this is going to give us -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. So now we can find out how many of the numbers in the sequence are positive. So here it's minus, the negative, 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 and 0. 0 is neither negative nor positive. So we only have 1 and 2 here that are positive number. So we can confidently say that it's only 2 numbers that are positive in our sequence. As simple as that. Okay. So let's move on to question 72. So the question here says that in a small snack shop, the average arithmetic mean revenue was $400 per day over a 10-day period. During this period, if the average daily revenue was $360 for the first 6 days, what was the average daily revenue for the last 4 days? Okay, so what this means is that we have, so the sum of the revenue for 10 days divided by 10, which is the number of days, the 10-day period, is equal to 400. So that means that the sum of the revenue for the 10 days is actually equal to 10 times 400, which is going to give us 4,000. Okay, so that's the first operation that we need to check. The second one, from what the prompt says, we can put this operation. So the sum of the revenues for the first 6 days, those first 6 days out of the 10 days, divided by 6. So 6 is the number of days, so 6 days is equal to 360. So now we can say that the sum of all the revenues for the first 6 days is equal to 360 times 6, which is 2,160. So now, since we can say, based on the information we have in the prompt, the sum of revenues for the whole 10-day period, so for the 10 days, is actually equal to the sum of the revenues for the first 6 days plus the sum of the revenues for last 4 days. Okay, because we have in 10 days, we have 6 days plus 4 days. So if we have taken the first 6 days, then the number of days that will remain is going to be 4. And the question is actually to find the average daily revenue for the last 4 days. But we need to find this value first, the sum of all the revenues for the last 4 days. So based on this operation, we can say that the sum of revenues for the last 4 days is going to be equal to the sum of the revenues for the 10 days, like this, minus the sum of all the revenues for the first 6 days, like this. Okay, so now we're simply going to replace with these values here. 4,000, which is the sum of all the revenues for the 10 days, minus sum of all the revenues for the first 6 days, which is 2,160. So this will give us 1,840. Okay. So now, what is the average? So let me come here. So we are going to say, so average daily revenue for the last 4 days. It's going to give us, the sum of all the revenues for the last 4 days divided by the number of days. So since we are talking about the last 4 days, so the number of days in question here is going to be 4. And then it's going to be equal to x. Let's call it x. X is going to be equal to this. Average daily revenue for the last 4 days, x, okay? And then x is going to be equal to this here, 1,840 divided by 4. This will give us 4, 6, yeah, so 460. Looking at the answer choices, answer D corresponds. That's the correct answer to the question. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to question 73. So question 73, here we have, if x factor of 2x plus 1 equals 0 and x plus 1 over 2 factor of 2x minus 3 equals 0, then what is the value of x? So let's just try to put on like a system of equation here. X factor of 2x plus 1 equals 0, and then this is going to lead us to 2x to the power 2 plus x equals 0. And here we are going to have x plus 1 over 2 factor of 2x minus 3 equals 0, and then 2x plus 1 over 2x minus 3 will be equal to 0. Then if we come again here we are going to have 4x if we develop this 4x squared minus 6x plus 2x minus 3 over 2, which is equal to 0, and 2x squared plus x 0, like this. So now here, simply going to be like 2x minus 4x minus 3, which is equal to 0. Okay, so we are going to have this. So here we are going to try to write it in like a factor. So we will have 4x squared plus 2 minus 6x minus 3. So it will bring us to this form here. Okay, and then 2x squared plus x equals 0. Here we will have 2 factor of 2x squared plus 2 plus x. Okay, because we are only taking the 2 out. Okay, minus 6x minus 3, which is equal to 0. So now you can see that these values are the same. This can lead us to have, if we replace this by 0, because we know that it's equal to 0, so we're going to have 2 factor. So this is question 1, question 2. So question 2, sorry, is going to give us this minus 3, which is equal to 0. And then minus 6 is equal to 3. X is equal to 3 minus 6, like this. And then x is going to be equal to minus 1 over 2. So that's the value of x. Let's find that the correct answer is answer B. That's okay. Next question, question 74. So it says, in a mayoral election, candidate X received 1 over 3 more votes than candidate Y, and candidate Y received 1 over 4 fewer votes than candidate Z. If candidate Z received 24,000 votes, how many votes did candidate X receive? So let's say X is equal to the number of votes received by candidate X. Y is the number of votes received by candidate Y. So the same logic here. Z is going to be the number of votes received by candidate Z. And it says that if candidate Z received 24,000 votes, so Z is equal to 24,000. And that means that Y, which is candidate Y, is going to be equal to Z minus Z over 4. because it says candidate Y received 1/4 fewer votes than candidate Z. So this is how you write it. Then this is going to give way to 4Z minus Z over 4 and 3Z over 4, which is 3 times 24,000 over 4, which is 3 times 6,000, which means that Y is equal to 18,000. So that's Y. So with the number of votes received by the candidate Y, we can find the number of votes received by candidate X. And X says here, the candidate X received 1/3 more votes than candidate Y. So it's going to be the votes that candidate Y received plus 1/3 of those votes. So now this will give us this 3y plus y over 3, which is 4y over 3, which is 4 times 18,000 over 3, which is 4 times 6,000. Okay, so 3 times 6,000 is equal to 24,000. So candidate X received 24,000 votes. Okay, 24,000 votes. So how many votes did candidate X receive? It's answer C, 24,000 votes. Good. So that's pretty much straightforward. So now moving on to question 75, where we have this prompt which says, which of the following inequalities is equivalent to the inequality 2 factor of x plus 3 greater than 3 factor of x minus 4, like this. So now if we develop this, 2x plus 6 greater than 3x minus 12, okay, if we bring the 3x here, so 2x minus 3x greater than minus 12 minus 6, we're going to have minus x greater than minus 18. And if we multiply both sides by minus, x is going to be less than 18. So now when we're looking at the answer choices, which one corresponds? It's answer C. So answer C is the correct answer. So that's pretty much easy question. Like you can find the answer to directly. Okay, the next question, which is question number 76. So it says this: the function f is defined for all positive numbers x by f of x equals to 1 over x. What is the value of f of 2 plus f of 1 over 3? So from what we can read from the prompt, we know that f of x is equal to 1 over x, okay? So that means that f of 2 is equal to 1 over 2, and then f of 1 over 3 is then equal to 1 over 1 over 3, which is 1 times 3 over 1, which is equal to 3. Okay, so this is what we need to find. But before we find that, we first of all need to find what is the value of f of 2 plus f of 1 over 3. Okay, so we can say f of 2 plus f of 1 over 3 is equal to, we have the values here, 1 over 2 plus 3. Okay, so this is going to be equal to no, 1 plus 6 over 2. Okay, so 1 plus 6 over 2, which is equal to 7 over 2. Okay, so now we can then find this value here. So basically, the question is to find this f of f over 2 plus f of 1 over f of 2 plus f of 1 over 3 is equal to f of 7 over 2, which is equal to 1 over 7 over 2, which is equal to 1 times 2 over 7, which is equal to 2 over 7. Okay, so 2 over 7 is this. That's the answer to the question. So that was question 76. Now let's move on to question 77. So here it says, what is the remainder when 3 to the power 24 is divided by 5? So what we know per the rules is that the remainder when a number is divided by 5 by dividing the units of that number by 5. Okay, so we find the remainder of a number when it's divided by 5 by dividing the units digit of that number by 5. So in order to determine the remainder when 3 to the power 24 is divided by 5, we need to calculate the units digit of 3 to the power 24. So we are going to have a look at the pattern of the units digit of powers of 3. And when writing that particular pattern, we are only going to be concerned with the units digit of 3 raised to each of the powers. So we are going to start, for example, with 3 to the power 1 is going to be equal to 3. To the power 2 is going to be 9. To the power 3, 27. To the power 4, 81. To the power 3 to the power 5. This is 243. So now, like I was saying, that when writing this particular, so we can continue, but we're going to stop here. When we write this particular pattern, we are only going to be concerned with the unit digit of 3 raised to each power. Okay, so like for example here, if we only take care of the unit digits, we have 3, 9, 7, 1, and 3. And if you continue the pattern, you will find that 3 to the power 6 is going to have a unit digit of 9 to the power 7. 3 to the power 7 is going to have a unit digit of 7. To the power 8, it's going to be unit digit of 1. And then when it comes to 1, and then it will go back to 3 again. Okay, so that's like a pattern. Okay, so the pattern of the unit digits of the power of 3 is going to repeat itself every 4 exponents. And the pattern is going to be, so here we can say that we find that the pattern, let me find out the pattern of the unit digit of powers of 3 repeats every 4 exponents. So the pattern is of unit digits is 3, 9, 7, and 1. So that's the pattern that we found. Okay. So all the positive exponents that are multiples of 4 are going to produce a 1 as the unit digit. So we have 4 here. Why are we saying that? Because the question is to find 3 exponent 24 divided by 5. What is its remainder? So we know that the exponent 24 here is a multiple of 4. So every unit digit whose exponent is going to be a multiple of 4 is going to have a unit digit of 1. As you can see, 4 here, we're going to have, for 8, it's also 1. For 4, it's 1 here. So that means that 3 to the power 24 has a unit digit of 1. Okay, so if it has a unit digit of 1, and since 1 divided by 5 gives a remainder of 1, that simply means that the remainder of 3 to the power 24 divided by 5 is also equal to 1. As simple as that. So that's pretty much the rule that you need to apply in order to find the correct answer to this question. So the remainder when 3 to the power 24 is divided by 5 is 1. So answer B is our correct answer. Okay. So let's go to the next question, which is question number 78. What does it say here? In a class of 34 students, the average age of all the students and class teacher combined is B years, okay? Now, if the class teacher age 43 retires in the same year and is replaced by an experienced teacher age 68, then what will be the new average of the class, including the class teacher? So let's start first by saying that we acknowledge that the sum of ages of all students is equal to S. Okay, that's the first thing that we can put here. And then the prompt says that in the class, in that particular class of 30, in a class of 34 students, the average age, the average age of all the students and class teacher combined is equal to B. So simply say that B is equal to the sum of all the ages of the students plus the age of the teacher and here we know now if the class teacher age 43 retires in the same year and is replaced, so B here is going to be equal to the sum of all the ages of all the students plus the age of the teacher divided by, we have 34 students plus 1 teacher. So this will say that B is equal to S plus 43 over 35, okay? So that's the same thing, the first thing that we can know for sure. And then from the prompt, it says when the new teacher age 68 joins, then we can say new average is going to be equal to the sum of all the ages of all the students plus 68, the age of the new professor, over 34, which is the number of students, 34 students plus 1, which is the 1 professor. So, and also one thing to note here is that it says that the first teacher, who is age 43, retires in the same year that the experienced teacher joins. So we can have 34 plus 2 here because this will only take into account the new teacher, the experienced teacher that has joined, and minus the the old teacher, which is who was 43 years. Sorry. Okay. So here, that is the new average, which is S plus 68 over 35. Okay, and now it says then what will be the new average of the class, including the class teacher. So actually here, we are finding the new average of the class. In terms of B, we know that B here is the average of the class with the former teacher who was 43. And what we can see here, what they have in common between the new average and the B here, we have the same denominator. S is part of the equation, and then 43 for B here. So we are going to try to write like this. 68, we know that it's actually 43 plus 25, and we're going to say divided by 35. And then when we have this, we're going to have S plus 43 over 35 plus 25 over 35. It's the same thing. And then this, we know that it's actually this one, B. So it's going to be B plus, and this, if we simplify this, it's going to be 5 over 7. 5 over 7 like this. So the new average is going to be equal to B plus 5 over 7. And as we can see, this is answer D. which is our correct answer. Okay, let's take the last but one question. It says if b is greater than 0, x equals square root of b plus 9 and y equals square root of b, what is the value of the product of x minus y and x plus y? So what is saying that what is the value of the product of x minus y, product of x plus y? So normally this is actually equals to x squared plus xy minus xy minus x squared. And this will cancel, and we will find ourselves with x squared minus y squared. But we have the values of x and y. So this is going to be square root of b plus 9 squared minus square root of b squared. And this will be equal to b plus 9 minus b. So these two are going to cancel. So normally x minus y, factor of x plus y is going to be equal to 9. And then answer B is our answer choice, solution to the question. And then let's take the last for this video, question number 80. Says, given that 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus that plus n is equal to s, and we have 1 to the power 3 plus 2 to the power 3 plus 3 to the power 3 plus that plus n to the power 3 is equal to s to the power 2. Then in terms of s, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus that plus n to the power 3 minus 1 to the power 3 plus 2 to the power 3 plus 3 to the power 3 plus that plus n to the power 3 is equal to what? That's basically that. So what we can say is that 1 plus 2, this here, is actually this 1 plus 2 s. So this is s to the power 3, like this. And then this here is s to the power 2, because that's what we have here, and it's there. So this is simply what this is asking us, is to find the value of this equation to the power 2. So this is simply s to the power 2 minus s to the power 2, s to the power 3 minus s to the power 2. And then if we factor s to the power 2, it's going to give us s to the power 2 factor of s minus 1. But now, if we look at the answer choices, which one corresponds? So it's answer D, which corresponds. So that's how you solve this particular question. Answer D is the correct answer.